There's a ton of frustration, no question. And I think a lot of this stems back to Caleb Williams not being quite as ready as they hoped he would be when the season began. That means they can't run the full offense because he doesn't have as much command at the line of scrimmage, can't make adjustments, can't use cadence as a weapon quite as much. He's holding the ball for too long. That led to frustration among the offensive linemen. He's frustrated the receivers, and the frustration has been towards the coaches. It's been back at Caleb Williams. And so they make the change this week. And one of the first things that Thomas Brown did over the course of the last few days is emphasize having full unit meetings rather than breaking into position groups. The hope is that he can bring the group together to try to find solutions.
All right, you're the one who played in the league, so and I know you were joking the other day, not even joking, like Joniak brought it up when he was on Waddell and Sylvie. The amount of coaches in an NFL building now are more than ever.
Past being ridiculous almost.
But
right.
Your reaction to that as someone who, like, what's normal? What should happen?
None of what he said early is, he's struggling with being a quarterback in the NFL. That's not a surprise. Jaden Daniels struggled yesterday.
Yeah, I've got numbers on the last month on Jaden Daniels. We'll get to it.
Listen, Daniel Jones struggles, and he's been in the league for a while.
Yes.
Playing quarterback in the league when you're under pressure can be a struggle. That's what it's all about. In that, we heard that, they're meeting together.
Yes. Well, you're not breaking up into groups.
You meet together at the beginning. You meet as a team. Usually when you break up as a team, you meet as a defense and an offense. Whatever message the coordinator's got to you, he sends the message out. Then you go meet individually because you want to be able to use your time in the most efficient manner. How fractured of a ball club do you have where you've got to sit and you got to meet as a team? I mean, I'm asking.
I don't know.
How fractured are you that your number one point is that we got to get all these guys in a room together and we got to have everybody look at film? When you watch the film, you as an individual knows on every play who screwed up.
Right.
You know what happens? No, over the course of a game, everybody gets a chance to screw up at some point.
Right.
Somebody's going to screw up. It always happens.
Even good players.
Even good players make a mistake.
You're playing 70 plays.
Nothing worse than seeing the play in the game where you jumped offside.
Oh, my gosh. Poor Johnny Newton last week, right?
Exactly. Johnny Newton. And it's going to cost your team this and that.
And it cost them a win.
And then you're going to get crap for it during the thing, and you're going to go ahead, you're going to have to eat it. That's the way it works. You got to eat it. Then you get by the play and you go on. You also know the good plays that you make, and the stuff. You can't wait for those to come on.
Right.
But everybody, when they break down, I know when the defensive back screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
We know when the D-line screwed up. We know when the linebacker screwed up. Sometimes you got to get together because the message from the linebacker coach and the D-line coach on what you're doing and what your mesh is doesn't really count. Or if your offensive line is trying to do something and your running back is out there freelancing on you, you want to have your running back and your offensive line kind of on the same page. So I get it. Sometimes you want to get together as a team and watch some of the plays together. Some of the things that need to be corrected, you want to watch them together so everybody understands exactly what the goal of the individual play is. But to sit and to come out and say the first thing you've got to do is watch everything together as a team, how divided is this squad?
I'll lean on your expertise in this, and from what I'm gathering from you, that struck you as odd.
It struck me as odd for a team that was 4-2 at one point.
I'll give you credit. You've called out a few of these things. You said when the captains were announced, you're like, "There's not an O lineman or a D lineman that's a captain."
I never
thought that was odd.
Oh, it's very odd
and rare.
Not a little odd. Very odd. When Ryan Poles goes to the podium in the summer and says, it's going to be hard to make our team, there's not many position battles, you were like, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
You've won 10 games in 2 years.
All right. You're not a team that went to the Super Bowl.
You're not the Chiefs.
You're not a perennial playoff power by any stretch. That was kind of out of whack.
And I'm not even sure I'm not even sure you'd hear Brett Veach say it's going to be hard to make our team.
Right.
So, when we told you a year ago, when Nate Davis wasn't showing up for the offseason program, we told you, even I know, just covering teams, that's odd.
That's odd, yes.
When a day one free agent blows off the entire offseason program, it's odd.
Yeah.
It's not what usually happens.
And step number one when an offensive coordinator takes over is to have everybody meet as a team. Okay, I guess so. It takes 5 minutes to give your declarative statement, doesn't it? 5 minutes to come out and say, this is my vision, this is what I see in our offense. Another 15 minutes if I'm going to put some plays on and say, guys, we can't have this anymore. 20 minutes. And now you go back to meeting efficiently. Now you go back to having the individuals look at the individual plays that are important to these guys and what's important to the receiving crew. Now, everybody's dependent upon everybody, so okay, bring them together. But how far apart are these guys?
I don't know, Jurko.
That your first thing you do is you bring them all together to watch the film.
I don't know.
To understand what the hell's going on.
And all these odd things add up to a team that is 14-29 under the head coach. It's the third worst winning percentage in the NFL since he took over in 2022. The third worst. And if you don't turn it around quick, you're going to get passed by Arizona in that category.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the second worst winning percentage. You're going to be right there with the Carolina Panthers that are the biggest train wreck disaster in the league right now and have been the last couple years with the owner.
This meeting together might be the proverbial circling of the wagons. Right? Everybody's against us. Everybody is nitpicking us. Everybody is after us. We got too many big mouths in the room. Yeah. So let's all get together and let's all watch. You guys shut up. You guys play better. You guys play better. You guys play better. We're all dependent upon each other. Right? Yeah. Maybe that's the message that needed to be sent. Maybe that's the proverbial circling of the wagons, but
no.
Wow.
It's interesting to hear your reaction to that. Like Waddle always says, you don't like the way we're talking about you, go change the narrative.
That's right.
You don't like the way the national media is talking about you, we're not the ones that are 14-29. You are.
When you were 4-2, people were happy. You're 4-5. Guess what? You stink now. You got to get better.
And you as a team alone can change the narrative. So start this week against your rival that has beaten you 10 consecutive times.